Welcome to LYNDA'S TV show. If it is your first time, you like the channel, you like the program, subscribe and put on your notification bell because it's gonna help you to know when I upload a new video. Like you all may know, I present information across the globe, especially Nigeria to be precise, and I want to appreciate my viewers, my subscribers. You guys are so amazing, especially those who always tune in to watch me each time I upload a new video.
All the way back then, talking about SAP. Would you like to elaborate, please?
Yeah, thank you very much, my sister. I try to say that the contest, even today, is a contest with a mixed economy policy, where the states believe sincerely in a primitive economy like Nigeria that they had substantial investment, substantial trust in governance, and substantial digging and putting up issues and reconciling it, than a nebulous economic policy that said that government had no business in business, that we should rely on the private sector, without acknowledging the fact that the so-called private sector does not exist here like it exists in the United States of America, or in Britain, or in the advanced climate in Europe, that where we are is a primitive economy. That is, some of the captains of industry we have, most of them in fact, are just portfolio industrialists. They have no factories. What they are looking at every day is the dollar, the petrodollar exchange. And this issue was advocated in 1996, as I said. I remember a paper written by some academics around the country, especially the BU, where they told us that in 10, 20 years, 30 years, Nigeria will become jobless, and Nigeria will become poorer, and there will be insecurity. I remember Bade Odumade, he was there, he came to the University of Nigeria, we attended the listing with Professor Zimiro, Professor Claude Ake, and others. They warned that look, the Nigerian state should continue to invest, should continue to help industrialists.
Mr. Okechukwu.
That if you stop helping the industrialists, we are not going anywhere.
Well, Mr. Osita Okechukwu, Director General of the Voice of Nigeria and a member of the All Progressives Congress. Mr. Okechukwu, thank you very much for staying with us. Before we went on break, you were talking about certain industrialists. If you could just complete your thoughts on that before we take another question.
And what I was saying is that in simplicity, is that the structural adjustment program of 1986, induced by the IMF, rendered us prostrate. That a lot of industries, uncountable, left the Ikeja Industrial Estate, left the Kano Industrial Complex, the Aba Industrial Complex. I'm speaking to you now, I'm in a course in a Badagry. I passed through a fiber factory that was very, very prominent in the 70s and the 80s. But today, that factory closed. And I happened to meet one of the workers who used to work there. He said then that they import certain raw materials, and it's always subsidized by the government. And he kept them going. So such companies had gone. Gone with them were also the employees. And what is the result? Agony, hopelessness, where we find ourselves. And this was predicted. And ironically, the current president, President Muhammad Buhari, as a military head of state, opposed all the 5 tenets that they dished out then: the devaluation of the naira, leaving the private sector to do it, that government should face other matters. And you ask yourself today, did it pay off? We will privatize, for instance, the electricity distribution companies, where the same government pays 50 billion every month to bridge the gap between the generating companies and the distribution companies. What is the difference when the government is still spending money, but now trying to fight to help the few? So what we created in the past 30-something years, 1996 to today, 86 to today, is that we have created the richest African and few billionaires in dollars. But we have created the world poverty capital. So I'm saying it's a paradox that we must find a way to return to the mixed economic profile, whereby we develop along the line by the states doing all we could within the resources we have to diversify our economy, that we cannot exist where we are, where the banks make billions of profits, and the banks are antithetical to the growth of the Nigerian economy, because if you are borrowing at 20-something%, I don't know the business you can make profit if you borrow from a bank at 20-something% interest rates. While where we borrowed, in UK, US, they are on 1% minus borrowing interest rates. Here we are 20-something%. Is it not high time we look back where the rain started? Because in the African parlance, the safety had been beaten by the rain. The only way to get good shelter is for you to know where the rain started. I said the insecurity in the country today, the gross unemployment, the hopelessness, we are the child of the structural adjustment program of 1986. And a study across the board in all the developing countries where the program was introduced, it failed. We are not aware where it succeeded. That is my submission.
All right. You know the jury is out on that. There are many people that argue with you on that, and even take it back to the Dutch disease that started in the 70s when crude oil price went from $3 per barrel to $12 per barrel, and everybody became a portfolio sort of manufacturing investor sort of, and Lagos became the beehive of quick get-rich money by just getting the governmental contracts. So a lot of people even cite it back to the 70s that brought about that culture. But I want to ask you this. I'm hearing a certain talk. Caretaker chairman of the APC saying 32 years. They need 32 years. Your party is envisioning that your party will lead for the next, or rule for the next 32 years. The last time I heard that kind of talk was from a man called Vincent Ogbulafor, Chief Vincent Ogbulafor. I said the PDP then will rule for the next 60 years, but we know how that talk went. I mean, what's your take on this 32 years? And what is it that you want to do in 32 years that you can't do in 4 years?
Thank you very much. Let me not go on figures, because they told us that the devil is in the details. What the party had done, which a lot of people do not remember or definitely do not want to count. When we took off in 2015, not only that the oil price, the only product we depended on in a modern economy collapsed. But Mr. President said, I'm not going to award new contracts on federal projects. I've gone through the files of the companies, especially on federal roads. And my discovery was that some were not paid for 5, 3 years, 7 years. The little money we have, let us pay them. Those who fail accordingly, then we could cancel. That 6 years down the line, President Muhammad Buhari had not awarded new contracts up to 20%. That the rare feat he did was continuity of where the PDP stopped. In spite of the fact that he could have walked away to start giving new contracts, he said no. And let's go the little we have, that today across the board, the kilometers of roads he had built is more than, in 6 years, is more than what the PDP did in 60 years. The other infrastructural assets he he had imputed on. A lot of people forgot that while the collapse of the economy depends on the electricity, that is the only regime that felt there must be alternate energy source. And they started with the rural electrification. Where some communities today, the battle they have in some communities today is the same people that benefited from the structural adjustment program who bought the disco companies, saying that they could not use the poles. They have even gone to markets like Ariara markets and others and powered those with rural electrification so that they could have solar to augment the publicity electricity supply. So I think that what Governor Buni is referring to is that he's looking back on what we've done in infrastructure, how we differed from other regimes since 1970 in pumping money into agriculture. He's looking at that because he knows that some of the drawbacks we have, like insecurity, is also being attended to. At least today, no Nigerian or Fulani herders is safe if he goes about with his AK-47. Mr. President have made a pronounced statement. Some might say late, but they told us never late, better be late than never. Now, in the few months ahead, the issue of insecurity will be called to a drastic end. That Buni is looking at it before 2023, those foundations we have laid will start glittering. A lot of people do not know that the insecurity you might talk here and there, that investment of PDP and APC state governors, like in Kaduna, anybody that knows what Governor Rufai had done in terms of infrastructural development and other states will shudder. But unluckily for us, the insecurity had kind of beclouded the solid foundation we are laying. So if Governor Buni is relying on the fact that immediately we could curb insecurity, then the Nigerian people will see what the APC had done. And luckily, that will be, they will have 2 years to come to that presidential or general elections. So he's relying on what we have done on the ground, and he knows it is overwhelming.
Well, Mr. Okechukwu, with this re-registration exercise going on in the APC, we've seen so many people joining the party who were previously in other political parties. But what I'm more concerned about is the politics of zoning. What's the dominant conversation going on within the party with regard to the zoning of the presidency in 2023? I know you're on record as saying, well, you suspect that it will be zoned, the presidency will be zoned by the APC to the southeast. But some people think that perhaps you should go to the southwest or the south-south. But what kind of conversation are you having, your members having within the APC?
Thank you very much. The only confusion we have on the ground is the bent of the PDP to rig the zoning convention. If you go through the Governor Bala Mohammed committee report, you can see that they are going out of their way. What is their target? Their target is the 12 million President Buhari's vote bank. They are reasoning that President Buhari might not be in the, they will not be in the, they are going by the constitution and the yardstick of 2023 that President Buhari will not be in the ballot papers. And because he will not be there, they are trying to breach their own constitution that clearly spelled out the convention of zoning. But on our own side, we are telling we are talking deeply with my own party. We are telling them that equity, natural justice, and good conscience dictates that the zoning convention that started in 1999 should be upheld. That if possible, if PDP allows, that we want the Falaye Obasanjo model, where the two dominant political parties will choose a candidate from the same geopolitical zone in the south. And that geopolitical zone, to our reasoning, is the southeast, because in the from the inception of the zoning convention in 1999 to date, we have 3 geopolitical zones in the south: the southwest, the south-south, and the southeast. Luckily, our brothers in the south-west zone had a stint of 8 years. They have also combined it with the vice presidential ticket. And then our brothers in the south-south had 5-6 years stint. So since 1999, the south is the only region. Let us not even talk to 1960, but let's hold ourselves within the inception of the zoning convention, that the southeast, if you want to go for equity, natural justice, and good conscience, that is the turn of the southeast. And we're also saying that if you do that, outside the ground norm of the equity, natural justice, and good conscience, that you will put an end to some fringe elements like Nnamdi Kanu, IPOB. It will be goodbye to them, because they will have nothing to canvass anymore. And that if you do that, you give the Igbos a sense of belonging since after the Civil War.
Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time or first day of coming across my YouTube channel or seeing my face, you are highly welcome. Herzlich willkommen zu meinem Kanal. My name is Linda Chukwuezi. It's comment that says subscribe and you turn on the notification bell so that you'll be able to get information on the.
Bis zum nächsten Video und einen schönen Tag. Tschüss.
Tschüss. Bis man subscribe to LYNDA'S TV show. What are you waiting for? Click on that red button that says subscribe. You turn on the notification bell so that you'll be getting more updates from me. Leave your comments down below and share this video with your friends, families, and colleagues until we meet again in my next video. Bye bye.